disgruntledduck.com.
Hi guys, welcome again to another review video. This time we are reviewing and unboxing the M48A3 Patton tank, US tank, Cold War era. Again, from probably my favourite brand, Tamiya. I do love a Tamiya kit. Anyone who's seen any of my videos notices that hell of a lot of my Tamiya kits, but there's a reason for that. I do like a nice out of the box build, something nice and relaxing. Sometimes all the other stuff, photo etch and bits and pieces, can do my head in, so it's nice just to have a nice simple kit, something that reminds me of the good old times, as it were. So right, I've got our instructions. If you've made a Tamiya kit, you know what to expect. If you haven't made a Tamiya kit, you're in for quite a treat. Very simple instructions. As we go along, it's going to give us our paint colours. This one's a little bit different. It doesn't seem to tell us our paint colour charts. It'll tell you chrome silver, black, khaki, etc, etc. What we do then is, we've got an Android phone. I think it's on ISO as well. This little model colour converter, that's the app you use. It's going to list all your different paint companies, so we can go to Tamiya. You can go to, if you're using enamels or acrylic, we've got the X for the gloss, or the XF for the acrylic. XF, and we can just scroll through there and we can find any colours that we need. So there we go. Metallic grey we've got straight away there, so we can use that for our metallic grey we've seen in there. I think I saw that just somewhere around here. So yeah, it'll give us all these colours we're going to need. The more modern kits have these XF colour numbers already in the manual, so that's a little bit easier. So anyway, that is our instructions, really easy to follow. I give you some little tips sometimes in the sidebars for things you're going to be doing. And it's given us two different paint variants. We've got a Marines and we've got the US Army. So it looks like it's going to be the same colour traditionally, an olive sort of colour for these guys. So that is that. Right, so the base of the tank, quite an unusual shape. It's quite almost like a boat shaped hole. Again, this is one of the older models where they used to take batteries, have a little motor to go forwards and backwards, but that's something that doesn't exist now, but the castings are still the same. Load of details on there. We can have a nice little look at it. A lot of details already moulded into the bodywork. Nice and solid. Usually you get a good cast with the Tamiya kit. You won't see a ton of flash. Just having a look around that, there's not much to clean up whatsoever. Maybe a little bit around here, maybe a little clean. But yeah, it feels great, looks great, nothing out of place. I don't know about you guys, I leave these bits like this. I know some people fill them in, but I don't really do much on the underneath of the model, because generally it's just going to be sitting there. I don't know if that's just me being lazy, but if I don't see it, I don't tend to bother with it. But again, that's just personal preference, I guess. Alright, there's the top of the tank. It's a medium-sized tank. Actually, it's fairly big, isn't it, actually? Not a ton of detail on the top of the hull. We've got some rivets. We've got some, look like maybe a couple of handles there. Looks like the grills for the engine exhaust, or the engine, what do you call that? That's the mesh where the engine cools. I don't even know what you call the radiator, maybe. You can tell I'm not a car guy at all, really. So there's the top of our hull. Very nice. Right, so we've got our turret. We've got a little bit of texture on there. Nothing too dramatic, but I can definitely feel a bit of texture on there. That's going to look nice. Going to be careful, definitely, with the painting and varnishing on this, because you don't want to lose that texture and just come out too smooth, because it is quite subtle. Nice rivets around the front of it. Again, it looks like it's going to be a nice clean fit. The turret is usually the only issue when you might have to use a little bit of filler on these models. Well, that and when you join the top and the bottom of the hull. Apart from that, it's usually quite a snug fit. And yeah, that looks pretty nice. There's a little close up for you guys. So there we go. Next we have Alright, we've got our wheels, our drive sprockets. It looks like we've got a couple of rucksacks or bags for some stowage there, that's always nice. So I've got a little hose at the back. This looks like some kind of periscope pipe, maybe for when it's in any form of water, or this could be the exhaust. I could be very wrong, that could just be exhaust pipe, but it just seems a little strange. We've got some spare tracks to be mounted on the outside. We've got the sprockets here. I'm always in two minds about these. They normally join onto the points. I prefer it when the sprue joins in between the points. Just find it, for me personally, a little bit easier to clean those guys up. But yeah, that's a nice little sprue of parts. There's a little close up so you can have another little look. I'm tempted to throw up some photos of the parts as I'm describing them, just so you can get a clearer look. So I don't know how good the camera picks up some of these parts, but that's something that you'll need to leave in the comments or something for me to make a decision on that later. So we've got a second part, our suspension, our bogies, all those bits. As you can expect, there's a nice bit of detail, rivets everywhere, wheels look nice, the wheel nuts look good. As always, you know, when it depends on what you're doing. I always like to, even if I'm building sort of a factory fresh sort of tank, nothing that's been weathered too heavily, I like to put a little bit of a wash on, a very light, like a filter or a wash, just all over, just to pick out some of these dots. You know, that's just, it really just makes that, it gives it that, even, I know it's 3D anyway, the tank, but it just gives it that sort of, that popping effect. So there's the next screw. Right. We've got, in this guy, we have a couple of little figures. One's half a figure. You usually get half a figure in these guys that can sit in the tank as he's driving. We've got the toolboxes, boxes for the outside. We've got the lights here. They seem to be, they already got the protective cage around the outside, so we've not got to put that on separately. With some of the kits you get the lights and then you get the protective cage, but that's all in one, so that's going to be really simple. I've got the big old machine gun there. Got some jerry cans. That's where our exhaust's going to go, I believe. So it looks like the beginning of the exhaust pipes. Got some towing hooks. Yeah, pretty much a lot of the exterior content there that's going to fit on the top of the hull. The little handles for the jerry cans. Everything about that is all right. I can see my first little bit of flash there on one of these jerry cans around the outside. That's the first real serious bit of flash I've seen where I'm going to need to clean the outside, and again a little bit on the troops. Everything else is really nicely casted. Usually, I've not seen a machine gun without a little line along the top that needs to be sanded down, but apart from that, all these other bits, very clean, very nice, and I'm expecting that they're going to fit together really beautifully. So onto our final sprue. So basically here we've got our gun, we've got the top part of our turret that sits on the top, we've got our storage cage that goes in the back of the tank. Did I say we've also got a gun there? I don't know what size gun this is, probably a 75 millimeters, something around that sort of size I'd expect. We've got our handles on the side for holding on to, our support handles. Looks like part of our aerial. As always with these, you know, I try and do most of these Tamiya things out of the box just because I don't want to faff around with too much. Especially at the moment, I'm just having so much fun building. So the only thing I really replace on these is the aerials. I use guitar strings, electric guitar strings, the metal ones, and you pick up a pack for a couple of pounds. It will do you so many aerials out of there. The other thing I've bought is some of that metal rope, fine stuff, just to replace some of the tow cables. Just 'cause I'm not a mad fan of the tow cables they provide with them, but again, that was absolutely dirt cheap. Get like a metre length, and that's going to do me 10 models or so for a couple of pounds. So you know, for 20p a model extra. Same with the aerials for what, 5 or 10p a model extra. I think that's a very small amount to add a lot more realism and detail to it. So anyway, there's our final sprue. It's a very nice one. What else is in the box? So we've got our rubber tracks. there's not much to say about these. You either love them or you hate them. I'm quite content with them. I do prefer, of course, some of the magic tracks, some of the individual link tracks, because they do look a lot better. But again, for these out of the box builds I just want to do over the weekends when I've got some free time, these are absolutely perfect for me. Make sure that you wash them always. I like to give them a spray with some shot ball aerosol black primer or black paint. Weather them, make sure they're varnished before you stick them together so they don't crack too much, you don't lose anything when they go into the tank. But yeah, they turn out alright, you know. You need a little bit of super glue to play with these, but generally, you know, they're going to be half decent. Now finally, the last little bit we've got, this is one of the older models. So the clear parts were slightly different back then. So you've got this very fine clear plastic lens that's going to go on that big light there. I don't know if it's a light or some sort of radar rangefinder, but that's going to go on there. It's quite thin plastic, so you need to be very delicate with it, especially when cutting. It's easy to go over, not like some of the thicker stuff that comes with the models nowadays. So we've got some cable, not sure what that's going to be used for, could just be in stowage. And we've got some string which they're going to want us to use as our towing cable, quite possibly. This is why I've got the metallic rope one. So we can paint this, so they reckon to paint this guy up, give it a varnish, and that's going to replicate your metal cable. So what I'll do on one of these builds, I'm going to do one side by side. One of the ropes or the strings painted and varnished, then I'll do one of the metal ropes that I bought, and then we'll do one of the out of the kit plastic ones and see what we get the best look out of. Polycaps, as always, not much to say. These will stick your wheels on, so you can get some movement on there. You don't want to set your wheels too fast sometimes. But yeah, polycaps. And finally, we've got our decals. These are going to give us for both the US Army version and US Marine version of this tank. So yeah, that's going to be a nice little build. Not a lot in the box. Definitely a kit that's going to be under £20. I hope you find this helpful. This is the M48A3 Patton review. Thanks for joining me. Come back, check the channel out. There's loads more coming up. I've got a load of projects on the go, so there should be a load of finished things coming out soon. Until next time, happy modelling, and I'll see you guys soon.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment.